In this video, we're going to be using our knowledge of how to read the notes on a piano in order to understand one of the most foundational and important concepts in all of music theory. So to start off, we can label the notes of the piano that correspond to C, and we know that the white key immediately to the right of C is going to be D. Now, if we ask the question, is there a note in between C and D? We can see that clearly this black key here is in between C and D, so this would definitely be a yes. Now, we know that if we go to the right of C once, we end up with C sharp, or we can go to the left of D once and we would end up with D flat. These are the enharmonic names of this black key here. However, if we ask the same question about B and C, we can see that there is no note in between B and C. And if we do this same question with E and F, if we look for a key in between the two notes, we see that there is no key in between E and F either. What we have just discovered is the difference between what we call in music two different intervals. An interval is simply the distance between two notes. So, as mentioned with the C to D case, whenever there is a note in between two notes, for example, the C sharp or D flat that's in between C and D, the interval from C to D is what we call a whole tone, or just a tone for short, which we often symbolize by either writing the letter T for tone, or more commonly and more easily understood, the letter W for whole tone. However, if we look at the interval between B and C, or between E and F, we see that this is not a whole tone because there is no key in the middle of B and C or E and F. In fact, this interval is exactly half of the distance as the distance between C and D. Therefore, if a whole tone is the whole distance, half of that distance is what we would call a semitone. Semi, of course, meaning half, which we can symbolize with the capital letter S in order to indicate that it is a semitone. So to demonstrate your understanding of the difference between whole tones and semitones, see if you can use the piano keyboard above and identify whether each of the pairs of notes below is a whole tone or a semitone apart from each other. And in the next video, we'll see how this information is useful in order to understand how musical scales work.